What's going on? Jebb here, and in today's video, we are going to be talking about all kinds of different factors, on-chain analysis and technical analysis that's telling us that a bottom and a bounce for Bitcoin might be right around the bend, and we're going to be diving into not only the charts, but also some fundamentals and some on-chain metrics, trying to come to a conclusion on, was the rally that we saw this morning over the last 8 hours actually the beginning of something bigger? Are we about to see a big movement to the upside, or have we not yet found the exact bottom? We're going to be talking about all of that and more in today's video, guys. If you do enjoy, as always, make sure to smash that like button. We very much appreciate all of you tuning in every single morning here for Coffee and Crypto Live. I am joined, as always, by Mr. TA Tim. How you doing, Tim?
I'm doing good. And how about that improvement from yesterday on Jebb's voice?
I know. I sound way better.
I think it's at least a 70% improvement.
I know.
I still hear a slight tinge. There's a little bit right there.
I feel much better. I feel much better. Well, we're also joined as always by Smay. How you doing, Smay?
I'm not doing great. Just so you know, guys, before going live, Tim said something extremely hurtful.
Okay, so first Smay went for my throat.
Which is not going to be repeated.
Smay went for my throat.
And shouldn't that tell you how hurtful it was that I can't even say it on stream? Anyways.
That's a good point. That is a good point. That is a very good point.
Anyways, I just want to say, I want to take a moment to shout out some members.
I want to shout out the bluebird on your shoulder, man.
I want to shout out self-defense.
Oh, why did he move? He scooted.
He's like hiding.
Scoot back, dude. Scoot back.
Yeah, you can't see him.
No, scoot back. Scoot back. Oh, come on.
Oh my gosh.
This is so tragic.
So that's T-Shroom.
Yeah, T-Shroom's here with me. But anyways, I'd like to
he has
do
a table.
shout out. I want to shout out the Bitcoinologist. He's a brand new member.
That's a great name.
I love you. I love you. I'm going to shout out Mike the Humble Swede and Christopher McFarlane. Thank you guys so much.
Shout out to you guys. And also shout out to our new Jebbi Youngling. He just said that he had to renew.
Yeah, he was a member before. Sultan of Salt.
Sultan of Salt.
Welcome back, but he said there was a renewal problem, so.
Well, welcome back, Mr. Sultan of Salt. We very much appreciate all of you guys joining the channel. As always, it helps to support the operations around here because there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes to bring you guys this show. And by the way, we're working on a lot of really cool stuff behind the scenes. Like, I cannot wait to show you guys some of this stuff. I am so pumped. We got a lot of stuff going on. Cannot wait. We're very, very excited. And by the way, guys, here's what we got coming up on the show. We're going to be doing a little pulse of the market here in just a second. We're going to look over the top 10, see what they're doing, do a little bit of a snapshot on Bitcoin, Ethereum. And then we're going to discuss where the market is going as we move into the rest of this show. Guys, we got a great show lined up for you today. Let's go ahead and start over on CoinMarketCap. As you can see over here on my screen, over the last 24 hours, we've actually seen quite a bit of green. We have seen 5.3% movement to the upside on Bitcoin over the last 24 hours. On top of that, we've seen Ethereum move to the upside 7.4%, and we've even seen Cardano move up 11%. It's currently sitting at $1.45. I meant to buy some yesterday. I got busy. I'm thinking I'm going to buy some today. Tim, did you ever buy anything on the dip?
Yeah.
What'd you buy?
Well, I mean, I bought some Cardano.
You bought some Cardano?
No, I didn't get it at the very bottom. I think I bought it like so I'm just now back in profit. I think I bought it around 140 something, and right now Cardano's what it?
144.
145. Yeah, so I have a little bit of profit on there. But yeah, that was my dip buy. No, that was it.
Just Cardano? There you go. I'm probably going to buy some more Cardano, even though I kind of missed the bottom of it. But, you know, that's okay. We don't want to get so caught up on that. Terra Luna's up 12%. I've been doing a lot of research on this project. Very, very excited for Terra. More than likely, we're going to be bringing you guys some more content on that in the future. Really interesting algorithmic stablecoin project over there. Very, very interested in Terra. Dogecoin's up 7% as well for all of you guys out there that love the Doge. Loopring's up 38%. Bitcoin SV is up 34%. It went from worth nothing to worth nothing. And as far as the biggest losers, there actually are only a couple of them, and they're not down very far. The entire market has rebounded, and that kind of leads me to the first point I want to make here, and that is the entire market tends to move together, and that's a phenomenon that we have witnessed many times here on the cryptocurrency, here on the Crypto Jebb YouTube channel, is that whenever Bitcoin bottoms out or tops out, has a major movement, a lot of times the market will move in tandem. And a lot of people always wonder, well, why does the market do that? I would say that the reason that occurs is because the entire market is interconnected. And this is a concept that we're actually going to be making more content about in the future, because I want to talk to you guys in the future about how the entire market, through interoperability and through the connectedness of the internet and Web 3.0 and blockchain, the entire market is a massive web that moves together. It's very difficult to move and to pull one lever without manipulating everything else in the market. And that kind of stickiness that holds up the entire market together is something that we have witnessed quite a bit. But Tim, I want to ask you a question before we dive into our first little check-in with chat here, because I want to just kind of interact with you guys a little bit as we get started here. What are you most excited for for the year of 2022? Are you looking for Ethereum 2.0? Are you looking for Bitcoin to hit 100K? Like, what are you looking forward to next year?
I don't know if I have anything specifically individually. I am excited about the fact that all of this that we've seen happen over the last couple of weeks with the price action of not just Bitcoin, but crypto as a whole, it's showing us that this bull run is actually going to be delayed and a little longer than what we thought. So I'm excited to see us continue to rally, continue to grow, continue to get more adoption happening in the market, more people from a retail standpoint, retail investors getting into it, getting involved, falling in love with crypto, which I think even that will continue to elongate this current bull cycle. And so I'm just excited about gains we will make and getting to watch the market grow with you guys.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you about that, and then we'll read a couple chats here as we get going.
Yeah.
What do you think the last 2 weeks of price action does to the predictions that we had about, $100,000 Bitcoin maybe by the end of the year, maybe the top of the market coming in January, February, March? How much do you think we have it lengthened this cycle? And do you think that we're moving out of the period of, blow off top massive crashes like we saw in 2013 and 17? Are we moving into a new type of market?
The truth is, that was actually something I was thinking about the other day. I would be very surprised if the top of this next bull cycle is going to be a blow off top, because I do think it's going to be a very gradual, slow thing because of all the adoption that happens with everything going on. So a lot to be seen. Again, I actually think it's a very bullish sign that we aren't going to be hitting 100K by the end of the year. It is something I thought. It's a thing that a lot of people thought. But what you're going to see happen due to the fact that we didn't hit it on that schedule is that's where we really should be. But because we're below it, if you watch the market, every time that we're kind of below where we really should be, if you follow that S2F pool, if you follow the stock to flow ratio, you're going to see it almost catapult up above that line. So to me, what that says is, all right, you know what? Let's hang below it, because I know we're going to get back up to it. I know we're going to go past it. And so how much past it can we go? So I am excited. I do think that this market's going to look a little bit different, though, than what we've seen in the past. Doesn't mean throw out all historical analysis. It doesn't mean just because we haven't seen something before means it'll happen again. But it is something that's like, hey, there are going to be some new plays and some new market trends to look for, to be able to read for the future. So pay close attention.
Love that, guys. We're going to be keeping you guys up to date on all of that as we move forward here into the new year. But let's go ahead and start over with some Bitcoin technical analysis here. We talked about yesterday how Bitcoin had pulled back down to a convergent zone of support in between this downtrending level of resistance right here that then turned into support. That gave us support right around $48,000. And then we also looked at this high, this bottom over here. I guess we're still doing a little bit of an episode of Coughing in Crypto. I have to clear my throat a little bit too. We're getting there though, guys. Somebody in chat earlier, forgive me, I didn't see the name, said, I think I caught a cold from you guys because I was watching yesterday.
Probably.
And they probably did. That's probably how that works. I don't know. Is that
it's like a yawn, when you see someone yawn, you trigger yawns with your eyes.
Is that what they mean when they say we're making viral content?
Yeah, this new sickness.
Our channel went viral yesterday is what we can find out. But nevertheless, there was an uptrend here on Bitcoin over the last year and a half, starting back in March of 2020. Whenever T. Shroom laughs off screen, I know that I made a good joke, because he is the king of dad jokes. And if I made a good dad joke, I'll hear him snicker over there. And that's how I get my approval like that, guys. It's great. But we saw this, he's snickering again, so it worked. I got him going, guys. We got a live audience. No, but we had this long-term uptrending level of support right here ever since March of last year, dropping down all the way to $5,000, then back down here to about $10,000, then back over here to $30,000, and that's where we bottomed out over just the last couple of days. And as I said yesterday, I'm not convinced that the bottom is in yet, because I want to see if the little bottoming pattern that we're playing out right now is similar to this pattern over here or this pattern over here. I don't know if Bitcoin is going to bottom out and then just V-bottom and cause a giant rally, or if Bitcoin's going to do this movement. And to be honest with you, if this is number one and this is number two, I'm actually more inclined to believe that this number one scenario is what is more than likely to happen. And the reason I will say that is this. There has been quite a lot of FUD in the market over the last couple of months. And I don't think that FUD is very justified. I think that Bitcoin is more solid right now than it ever has been. The network has grown much farther than it ever has. The altcoin space has developed exorbitantly. The number of people that know the name Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is huge right now. The fundamentals are phenomenal. And if you've ever had to have a reason to buy in and invest into Bitcoin, you have the best reason today that you ever have in the history of this entire industry. So I don't think there's any reason that we should be scared of that. However, we can't deny the fact that people are. If we were to look at the Fear and Greed Index, which I can go ahead and pull up here, over on alternative.me. We talked about this yesterday. Yesterday, it dropped down to 16. Currently, it's sitting at 25. If you look over the last year, you can see that the Fear and Greed Index sat down here between 10 and 20 for 3 months, from May 25th all the way through July 25th. What happened during that period was Bitcoin saw that massive dump all the way down here, and people weren't sure, are we going into a bear market? Right now, that's a conversation, that's a topic, that's a point of discussion that is very common right now. A lot of people are asking the question, are we going into a bear market? Are we going into a bear market? Are we going into a bear market? You know what's funny? Most of the time, you're not going to know if you're in a bear market until you're already a month or two into the bear market. So it's very difficult, if not completely impossible, to call a bear market with any certainty. Now, there are a lot of indications that we can look at to say, hey, a bull market's starting, but it's actually very hard to tell when a bear market is starting because you just don't know what the market sentiment really says. You can get a feel for it, but you just don't have that big of a solid idea. I don't think that we're anywhere near a bear market, but the fear of that bear market right now is paralyzing the Bitcoin market, and we have got to keep that in mind when we're doing our analysis. But anyway, looking down here on the 4-hourly chart, you can see that Bitcoin has bounced just a little bit. And the fact that it has done that has given a lot of investors a little bit of confidence in the market that I think may be a little bit misplaced. And the reason that I say it may be a bit misplaced is because right now what Bitcoin is doing on the 4-hourly chart, and we're going to zoom out, go through the daily chart, we're going to look at market cipher, Lux Algo, all of that here in a second. But the reason I say that the confidence in this short-term rally may be misplaced is because, one, it is actually an ascending wedge, and as we know, ascending wedges break to the downside. If you need an example of that, just when in doubt, zoom out it all up, and you can see that there was an ascending wedge right here that we broke bearish out of. They typically do break to the downside. But two, on top of that, we're actually seeing that right now, Bitcoin has not even come close to recapturing the high that it had before this crash. Bitcoin had a massive dump on a $2 billion long squeeze that we talked about yesterday. Bitcoin did not manage to reconquer that level and push all the way back up to 57K, which means that the market sentiment right now defines the value of Bitcoin at $51,000. It means that we have not managed to recapture these levels that we were trading sideways at up here. And what that basically tells me is that all of this movement up here at $56,000 to $57,000 is now null and void, and it's now all turned into resistance. So am I confident that the bottom is in? I am absolutely not confident that the bottom is in. I don't know where it is actually, but I am going to be keeping you guys up to date and bringing you as many technicals as I possibly can. What I can tell you is this: I think that the bottom for Bitcoin will be in within the next month, and I think that the bottom is somewhere between $38,000 and $50,000. We've already pushed down into that region, but I think that we're probably going to do the same thing. Until I see some more confidence out of the market, I am just simply not going to be able to be confident in the market because it hasn't given me a reason to be so. Does that make sense? Hopefully so. Let's go ahead and look at some of our technical indicators over here on the daily chart, though, because I think the bottom, like I said, is close. I just don't think it's in just yet. Now, one of the things I want to point out is that there is almost a 3 white soldiers pattern showing up here on the daily chart. I wouldn't call it quite a 3 white soldiers pattern. You know, these patterns are typically very symmetrical. So what you'll see is you'll see 3 white soldiers or the green candlesticks that are about the same size. They won't have a lower wick, and then those are typically, you know, continuation patterns or bullish reversal patterns. In this case, this isn't quite a 3 white soldiers pattern, but what it is a pattern that shows us several very long lower wicks, and those long lower wicks indicate that the bears tried to push us to the downside and the bulls rejected it. So the good news about that is that the bulls are the ones in charge right now, even if they're only barely in charge right now. That's kind of the point I'm making to you guys. Yes, the Bitcoin bulls are in charge, but what we need to do as analysts is we need to analyze, yeah, but how strong are they? Is this a total victory? Are we about to push to 100K? No, that is not what the strength of the bulls and the bears are showing us. That's what we've been teaching in CT2A for almost 4 years now. Study the strength of the bulls and the bears. Who's stronger? Right now, the bears are stronger. Or excuse me, the bulls are stronger, but only barely, and we need to make sure that we have that information in our back pocket. With that said, let's also look at the Bollinger Bands here. Got some interesting data. We pushed very deep outside of the Bollinger Bands over the last couple of days, and we have now bounced back up inside of them. But just keep in mind, guys, until we get back up above the center line here on Bollinger Bands, which is currently sitting around $54,500, we are still in a confirmed downtrend. And, you know, Bollinger Bands aren't and the 20 simple moving average in the middle isn't the only way to determine if we're in an uptrend or a downtrend, but it is a big part of it. If we're sitting down below the Bollinger Band middle line, like we were here, then we're probably in a downtrend. If we're sitting above it, like we were over here, we're probably in an uptrend. Right now, we are categorically in a downtrend, so don't start betting too heavily on the bulls. On the daily chart I'm talking about, don't start betting too heavily on the bulls when the bulls are still the ones that need to prove themselves. Right now, the bears are the ones that have proved themselves. You want to make sure you're betting on the right horse, and currently the right horse is just not the bulls, just not yet. I think they will come, but it's not here yet. Anyway, let's also look at VPVR. There is an interesting level of support here that I want to bring to your attention. If you look here at the daily chart over the last several months, over the last entire year, actually, you can see that there's a very strong zone of support sitting right here around $48,000. And I believe it was about 2-3 weeks ago, we talked about how $53,000 was probably the bottom, but if it didn't hold that, then $48,000 is where Bitcoin would go to. The reason that we said that was because it was this level back over here. We touched it as resistance right here. We touched it as support right here. We had a lot of trading in it back over here. And we also saw that it was a VPVR maxima right there. So we had reason to believe that $48,000 would be a potential level of support that if Bitcoin needed to go to, it could use. I think that was pretty much the exact wording I used a couple weeks ago. I said, if Bitcoin does need to go that low, that's where it will find support. And that's what we're looking at right now. Very important that we understand where our support and resistance zones are. Quite simply, why? So that we can know where our backup is. Like if we need to fall back, where are we going to fall to? That's what we want to know. Now, taking a look here at MACD. MACD is giving us something interesting, and that is the fact that over the last 2 days, we've seen bullish rounding. We have seen the market start rounding to the upside, and it looks like the bulls are trying to push this market back to the upside. It looks like they're trying to take that control back, but of course, we have not seen a bullish MACD cross just yet, and the last time we saw a real bullish MACD cross to write home about was the 30th of September. So if we do see a bullish MACD cross, it's going to be a very bullish thing, but we need to see it first. Of course, we can't get too excited about a bullish MACD cross that hasn't happened yet. But if we do see one, something I will encourage you on is that we're not seeing a bullish MACD cross up here at 2,000 points where we didn't have a big correction. We'd be seeing it down here at negative 2,000 points. It's not very often that you see a bullish MACD cross down at these levels. In fact, we've only seen a couple of them in history, and they all happened back in May and June and July of this year. If we do see a bullish MACD cross, and we will at some point down at these levels, then that is going to be a very strong buy signal. It's one of the reasons why I think the bottom is close, but again, I don't think it's in just yet. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Now, if we take a look here at the volume, that is going to lead us into the rest of our other technical analysis. You can see that there was a very large volume candle that came in here, or a volume bar that came in here on the 4th of December, and the volume's been elevated ever since. This is actually a very good sign, in my opinion, and I want Tim's opinion on this here in a second as well, but in my opinion, I think this is a good thing because it shows that there's more volatility in the space and there's more interest in the space and that the retail is trying to buy up the dip. But Tim, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that because I know you like doing volume analysis. What do you take of the higher volume over the last 10 days or so?
Well, I mean, really what it was is those 2 days we had a big crash, and it was I don't want to say the word crash because that incites fear. That big dip, that big retracement, where the $2 billion worth of
$2 billion long squeeze, yep.
Yeah, they were liquidated. That explains that volume. That's a lot of money leaving the market. That just shows again, I think we talked about it yesterday, when a retail investor misses the boat, sorry, sad to be adios. When an institutional investor misses the boat, yeah, hey, bring that boat back. Let's find that good price. So what I want to see over the next couple of days is I want to see the volume actually start to get really low. If the volume stays high, no matter what the price does, I don't think that's necessarily a good sign. If the volume goes high and the price shoots up, then great. That's good. That means people bought the dip. But if there's a lot of money going in and out, in and out, in and out, and the price doesn't move that much, I think that's communicating to the whales, hey, there's a lot of people left to shake out right here. Let's stay down. And then Jebb could be absolutely right that we go and actually maybe go back down to that 42. Maybe go touch it again just to get the whales excited. This is an area where you can still use TA to read it. Although the reason why Jebb gave such a wide gap right there is because when the whales get to manipulating, they can break some rules, they can break some things, but TA can still show us a range in which they can fluctuate without just destroying everything. But I do think. Okay, so I think the possibility of Jebb saying the bottom is not yet in is absolutely real. I just do not agree with that being the premise. I actually think the bottom is in, and I have a couple reasons why I think so. One of them is I do think that we're actually currently in a descending wedge right now on Bitcoin. I do think that, as he pointed out, the three white soldiers, I would love for them to be stronger. However, what I've seen the last 2 times we've had dips is I've seen a lot of little green, except for this one right here, a lot of little green candles at first, but overall a massive rise in price. And you see the Elliott wave start to form as well. And I was playing with this a little bit this morning. On all of these, there's a case you can make that we have been playing the hump ever since July 21st, we've been playing out the Elliott waves, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, ABC correction, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, ABC correction, and we just finished an ABC correction. So in my mind, when you look at that descending wedge, you look at these last 3 green days are playing out bullish RSI divergence. There is the fact of we are below right now what the stock to flow ratio is, and while that's okay, it is kind of this spring of like, man, we really should be going up higher. We read yesterday the fundamental news that a lot of miners are not getting rid of their Bitcoin. Miners are holding their Bitcoin right now.
Which, by the way, guys, is absolutely massive.
Yeah, all of this is kind of converging to me, and it's not perfect yet. There's possibilities can still play out, but this is converging to me. I think that the market is ready to resume, and this is just part of what the institutions were doing. If you kind of zoom out, this is a larger scale manipulation of institutional investors who believe in Bitcoin, who want to make money, but this is the difference between them and the average retail investor. They are willing to wait years to see their profits. Whereas I fear that a lot of retail investors want that profit right now or they're going to dip. Who's going to win that war? The patient one.
Yep.
If you can ride with the whales and stay patient with them, then you will be successful. But if you're just, I need immediate satisfaction right now, you're going to miss out.
I saw somebody quote Warren Buffett yesterday and said Warren Buffett is, his quote is ringing true right now. Warren Buffett once said, that the traditional markets or financial markets are a tool for transferring wealth from the impatient to the patient. And that is absolutely true right now. You got to be patient because these markets are going through correction. But quite frankly, Bitcoin's up 1,000% in the last 12 months, and you're not going to find that anywhere else. It's not up 1,000%, but it's up a lot. It's up 1,000% in the last 18 months, though. It's insane how much money there is here, guys, and it's just going to take a little bit of patience. But one of the final things I want to mention to you here on Bitcoin is that even though, yes, we're seeing a correction, what does that correction show? It shows that we're setting higher lows. And as Tim was saying, that is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 movement to the upside on Elliott wave with ABC corrections in here. And what we should be expecting is this wave 5 to move us all the way up to the upside, and that will be happening more than likely probably starting sometime toward the end of December, maybe early January. We'll be seeing a big rally. I don't think it's going to start just yet. I'm not, like I said, I'm not convinced the bottom's in. $42,000 very well may be, but as far as candle bodies, I don't know if this candle body bottom is in. I should probably clarify that. I don't think we're going back below $42,000, but as far as the candle bodies are concerned, I can see the candle bodies going back down to 46.
40.
I can see it's closing, but at like 45, 44, somewhere around there, maybe 46. But, we're going to have to wait and see on that. I think Tim's theory about how the volume really needs to get lower and a lot of those weak hands need to get shaken out, I think that's absolutely true. And we've seen that play out in history. Back over here in May, we saw a ton of volume. And a lot of people thought, oh, yeah, $30,000 is the bottom. Well, it actually was the bottom, but the candle bodies were nowhere near the bottom. The candle bodies were closing at 35, but the candle bodies would eventually close down at 29.5. And the reason that happened was because a lot of those weak hands were getting shaken out, and people were trying to figure out, hey, is a bear market starting? No, but, a lot of people weren't sure about that. So it just takes a little bit of time for us to get more confidence.
Even with that, just to help people understand what I'm trying to say, if there's a lot of volume with very little price action, what that means is there's a lot of buyers and a lot of sellers. There's a lot of action happening with no movement. Institutional investors will just sit and hang tight. They'll just say, all right, let's keep playing with this until we exhaust the kids, pretty much.
Yeah.
When the price moves significantly, but the volume is low, that means all of the action is one-sided. So that's where they're going to make their move. So that's why I'm saying I want to see the volume slow down, meaning the buyers and sellers, the bears and the bulls, they stop and they say, you know what, we're going to wait and see. Because when they stop and say wait and see, that's when the institutional investors buy. That's what makes the price go up because there's no one selling, so they're just buying. So therefore, boom, price goes up and they make their profits.
Boom sauce. Well, guys, how many likes do we have on the channel, or on the video, Tim?
Just 491.
491. Come on, guys.
We have 2,300 people watching, so we
Thank
definitely
you guys
get that
so much
up.
for tuning in. We can definitely get that up. Let's see if we can't get to 1,000 likes here in the next couple of minutes. Helps to promote the video in the algorithm. If you think that this video is something that more people would find entertainment out of and hopefully would find informational, then consider hitting that like button. It helps out the channel. Anyway, let's go ahead and continue on with our Bitcoin technical analysis here, and then in a little bit, we're going to jump into Ethereum. We're going to move through Market Cypher really quickly here. On the 2-daily chart, looks like things are starting to try and round out. We're seeing a bottom probably coming in here on the 2-daily for Cypher. but we are seeing some rounding, but it hasn't bottomed out just yet. So just be cautious of this. It looks like we might be seeing a bottom come in, but we haven't seen evidence of that just yet. We can also see RSIs pushing to the upside a little bit, and the money flow is starting to is continuing to come down. But be watching out for some kind of rounding, like a bowl shape here on the money flow over on the 2-daily chart. That is going to be very, very important to be watching. Now on the daily chart, there is actually some encouraging news. If you look down here on the bottom of Market Cipher, haven't shown you guys this in a while because, well, it hasn't happened in a while. There are these little green, maybe they're yellow. I'm colorblind. Don't make fun of me, please. But there are these little dots down here. You can, don't worry. I can take a good joke. Actually, you know what? I challenge you. Send some colorblind memes at me over on Twitter. What are y'all laughing at?
This is a flow of that. Don't make fun of me. You know what? Actually, do make. You know, actually. Tweet at me.
Yeah, tweet
and
at
make
me.
fun of me.
Please do make fun of me.
Just that flow of
it was flow. Yeah, you know, that's how it goes. We got that flow. We love it.
That was a rounded bottom.
That was a rounded bottom. I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure. Like, am I sensitive about? No. Go ahead. Send me colorblind memes at me on Twitter at CryptoJebb. Anyway, the green/yellow dot, whatever it is over here, has shown up on the market cipher for the daily chart. Last time that happened was back over here at the bottom in July of 2021. And that led to a pretty major rally. These dots are they're not buy signals, but they basically just tell you, hey, it looks like something's happening in the market. Be paying attention. You could start to see a big movement to the upside. Now, we're also looking at the RSIs pushing up, and we're looking at VWAP just crossed above the 0 level, and we are currently seemingly seeing some rounding bottom action down here on the daily chart market cipher's money flow. So be watching out for all of that. There are some good signs here that we could be seeing a buy setup here on daily chart market cipher. I don't think it's given us a buy setup just yet, but seeing how tomorrow goes, we very well could be seeing a buy setup coming out of daily chart market cipher. Now, with that said, I want to go ahead and move on down here to Lux Algo and show you guys some things on the 12-hourly chart. Down on the 12-hourly chart, we have some very interesting things that we need to look at. First and foremost, as you guys know, Lux Algo has given us some very strong confirmed signals. You can see I've changed up the Lux Oscillator a little bit. It's a little bit different here. I'll explain this in another video. This is the classic version. You can see that there was a red cross right over here on Lux Oscillator, followed by a red strong sell signal, and the trend catcher turning red. Basically, what that means is that we're in a confirmed downtrend. That's all it's telling us, is telling us we're in a confirmed downtrend. Now, the good news is about the more recent market is that it looks like we're about to see some green come in here on the 12-hourly Lux Oscillator Classic. And we're jumping above the trend catcher right here on the 12-hour. If we see trend catcher turn green, and if we start to see the Lux Oscillator move to the upside, then all we need is a buy signal. And if that buy signal comes in, we could be seeing a bottoming pattern here on the daily chart. This is on the 12-hourly chart. This is kind of what I'm getting at, guys. There are a lot of signals to say, hey, we're getting close to the bottom, or excuse me, it looks like we might be about to see a buy signal, but we just haven't seen it just yet. We just need a little bit of time for the market to prove itself, and that's what we're looking for. Now, down here on the 4-hourly chart, it's a different story. We've seen a buy signal, and we've seen the green oscillator, but we have not seen trend catcher turn green. If we do see trend catcher turn green, then that's going to give me an indication that we're going to see some movement to the upside. Probably not a bunch, probably only up to about $54,500, which is on this downtrend, but be watching out for the 4-hourly chart because there is reason to believe that we could see some bullishness come in there relatively soon. Now, we're going to move on here and spend about 5 minutes on Ethereum, because I know you guys are very excited about Ethereum. Ethereum has been going under a pretty good rally over the last little while. And the first thing I want to point out here, excuse me, the first thing I want to point out here on Ethereum is that, funnily enough, this market right here actually looks very similar to another market I've seen before, and it's not even a crypto market. It's actually the S&P 500 going back to the 2000s. If you look on the S&P 500 going back to the 2000s, you saw or the 90s and the 2000s, you saw a market, actually I take that back, it's not the SPI, it's the DJI. Let me jump over to the DJI. You can see that the market back here in 98, 99, and 2000 kind of just rounded, topped, had a bit of a bottom, and then started rallying again. I think we might be about to see something similar happening on Ethereum, where Ethereum is having this kind of, you can see just how much difference the resolution is on crypto markets versus traditional markets. I think what we're seeing happen right now is Ethereum's going through this kind of rounded top. It's going to bottom out relatively soon. That's going to continue to the upside, and I think that that's going to be very good for the investor. We can see that Ethereum is holding up right here above $4,000 as our support. We've talked about multiple times how that is an important level that Ethereum needs to hold. If you'll remember back to several days ago, a couple of weeks ago actually, we talked about how Ethereum was likely going to break bearish out of this ascending wedge, and that it was going to pull back down to $4,000, maybe even down to $3,700. Well, it pulled down on the candle bodies to $4,000, pulled back down on the candle wicks to $3,700. So technical analysis works. What technical analysis is telling us now is that Ethereum is in a holding pattern, and Ethereum is waiting for Bitcoin to give it the go ahead to actually start a rally. Ethereum is waiting on the rest of the market, but to be honest with you, Ethereum is also looking like it could be set up to lead the rest of the market. At the moment, we are technically under a strong buy signal that came into play back here on the 30th of November. We have not yet seen the trend catcher turn green, but we have seen Lux Oscillator start to turn green. So if we start to see the rest of this play out and we see green trend catcher coming in, that would be a confirmed buy signal coming out of Lux Algo on Ethereum. And if Ethereum is able to lead this market, that would be very, very interesting. And the reason to be very interesting is because it means that we would likely see a major altcoin cycle. Tim, let me ask you this. Do you think Ethereum has the power to lead Bitcoin out of this big dip? And if so, what would that look like?
I mean, at the moment, it is leading it out of the dip.
It is, yeah.
So whether it, we want to say it is or isn't, it is. As far as a whole alt cycle, I think an alt cycle will come, and it's gonna be simultaneous with the Bitcoin cycle as well. I just think that there are gonna be some altcoins that outperform Bitcoin, and the truth is that's a sign of maturation for Bitcoin. Bitcoin is getting to a place where it is playing with the bigger dogs, and it's not going to be as volatile, and it's not going to be as crazy as these other altcoins, which means, guess what? You won't lose as much in Bitcoin, but you won't gain as much there either. It's going to become a lot more solid. Whereas Ethereum, I think there's a lot of things that are excited about Ethereum. When people say, could Ethereum flip it? One of the reasons why I don't think Ethereum will flip it is I think there's going to be moments where Ethereum's going to get really close. But I think there's a lot of uncertainties and a lot of unknowns with Ethereum. We're waiting on and have been waiting on, before I've even been involved with crypto, Ethereum 2.0, and that just keeps getting pushed back and back and back and back. And the other thing is, we're so used to Ethereum working with, proof of work, and now it's moving to proof of stake. What is that transition going to look like?
Yeah.
And people think, oh no, that's going to be a beautiful transition and be sweet. No, if we know anything about crypto, is that these transitions are not smooth. They end up being problematic. So I think Ethereum, there's gonna be a lot of things happening over the next couple of months and a year or so that make people bring that question up. Oh, is Ethereum about to flip Bitcoin? But there's also gonna be some things that say, no, it's not. Ethereum's got some major issues they gotta continue to fix.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm excited about Ethereum for the next couple of months because they are still working on a lot of projects. They have a lot of good things underneath them. There's just some concerns I have over the next year, not meaning I think Ethereum's going to lose like everything and become nothing. I think it's going to take a lot for any other project to become number two. I'm looking, if Ethereum ever does flip Bitcoin, I think that's years away, not like months. Yeah,
no, I agree. And the thing about Ethereum is that Ethereum going to Ethereum 2.0, the reason it's such a big deal and why it's taking so long, and by the way, guys, it was always going to take this long. Anyone that told you that it wasn't going to just simply didn't know what they were talking about, or they were trying to get you excited for something that wasn't going to come. The reason that it is going to be such a hard switch for Ethereum, but that it's going to be so beneficial, is because what you're doing is you're changing the governance of an entire $500 billion market. So literally what you're doing is you're changing think about it like a country. If you have a government or a country that has a $50 billion gross domestic product, like a pretty big country, right? Not a small country, maybe a medium-sized country, and you try to change it from a communist system to a capitalist system, or from a socialist system to a capitalist or whatever, or a democratic system, if you do that, it might be a very good thing. Maybe you're moving the country in the right direction, but that's going to be a tumultuous couple of years while you try and get new elections set up and while you try and do all of this stuff. It's going to lead to something good. But that doesn't mean it's going to be easy to get there. And that's what we're going to see happen with Ethereum, is it's going to be a very trying transition. But with that said, let's go ahead and jump into a couple of super chats. Then we're going to move on into some on-chain metrics and some news. Guys, hit that like button. Thank you guys so much. We've almost got 900 likes. Let's see if we can't get to 1,500. We very much appreciate all of the support, as always.
Just in case anyone was wondering, it came back down to saying about, but Bitcoin is up to 51.7, so it is on the move up. This is something we will keep an eye on throughout the rest of the show.
Yep.
If there's any massive price action, we'll pretty much immediately jump back to it. But let's read some super chats and answer some of the questions. We had a new Jebb Youngling. This one is new. Elliot Locke is now a Jebb Youngling, so welcome so much. Elliot Locke, that's another person. Let's shout out here later on the trophies. Crit Cat, sorry, there's no second
Crit
R.
Cats.
Crit Cat said, what is the difference between layer ones, layer twos, etc.? Glad you're back and feeling better, Jim.
Yeah, great question. So a layer one solution is a Bitcoin. It's an Ethereum. Basically, what a layer one is it is a cryptocurrency that has its own blockchain. So Bitcoin is actually two things. It is the Bitcoin, the coin, but then it's also the Bitcoin decentralized ledger, the Bitcoin blockchain. Ethereum is the Ethereum coin, and then it's the Ethereum network. Those are actually two different things. You have what's called a native coin or a native token, And that's what Ethereum and Bitcoin are. A layer 2 solution is something that is built on top of that platform that plugs into it and sends transactional information through that blockchain, but that doesn't use the coin. So anything that's built on top of Ethereum, for example, a Chainlink or a Polygon or anything that's built on top of Ethereum, a lot of these decentralized exchanges are built on top of Ethereum. All of those projects, those are called layer 2 solutions because they operate on the Ethereum blockchain or on maybe the Solana blockchain or another layer 1 protocol, but they are not actually running their own blockchain. They might be running a mirror blockchain or something like that on top of the blockchain, but the point is it's plugged into the layer beneath it. If that makes sense, tell me in chat. It's a bit like we are a layer 2 solution on top of YouTube's layer 1 solution. YouTube is the infrastructure, and we're building something on that infrastructure. We're plugging into their infrastructure, but we didn't have to go out and build YouTube to build this channel. We just got to plug into the infrastructure that was already there. So that's the difference between layer 1 and layer 2.
Here's a good follow-up question for that, because I mean, clearly if he's asking that, he's going to want to know this as well. A layer 1, layer 2. So let's say something really positive happens to a layer 2 price action, right? How does that affect the layer 1's price action?
So say that again.
So if a layer 2 price, if a layer 2's coin price goes up,
yeah,
what happens to the layer 1 coin? Does it just stay still? Is it affected positive? Is it affected negative?
Well, let's put it this way. How would YouTube be valuable if there were no YouTubers? Is YouTube valuable because there's 100 million YouTubers or whatever the number is? YouTube is valuable because of the people that use the infrastructure. The United States interstate highway system is valuable because people use it. So there's not going to be a direct implication on the price. It's not something that you can track, but there absolutely is an implication on the price, because if you take it to an extreme and you say, oh, YouTube has no YouTubers, well, then what's the point of the infrastructure? YouTube is no longer a $200 billion subsidiary of Alphabet or whatever it's worth. It is worth zero because it's just a bunch of software that nobody uses. So it's kind of similar to Ethereum. If Ethereum wasn't used for anything, it'd be worth nothing. So the Ethereum coin is valuable because the Ethereum network is being utilized by layer 2 solutions. That's a great question, Tim.
Yep. Mitchell Murray said, if we entered a bear market, if we entered a bear market already, okay, I was misunderstanding what he was saying. Will there still be an alt season without a Bitcoin blow off top? So this is kind of what we were talking about a little bit.
So this is interesting. I think yes. And the reason I think yes is something that we were talking about in our planning meeting this morning, getting ready for the show. I think what we're looking at right now is, in the same way that Bitcoin is a decentralized network where you have no one point of failure, you have millions of different nodes, different wallet addresses, different miners. You can't just pick out one miner and the whole network falls apart like you can in a supply chain, as we've seen over the last 6 months. You pull out microchip manufacturing in Taiwan and the entire automotive market collapses because you don't have enough microchips, because it's a very fragile system that is not very decentralized. It's not a web. But on the web, on the internet, if you pull out one server, the rest of the internet doesn't care. If you pull out one Bitcoin miner, the rest of the Bitcoin network doesn't care because there's no single point of failure. I think we're going to see something very similar happen in the cryptocurrency market during the next bear market, where we're not going to see an 85% drop on Bitcoin and the entire total market capitalization. We're going to see a smaller drop, and the reason is there's not one point of failure anymore. Before, if Bitcoin crashed, the entire market followed because there wasn't a lot of utility in the space outside of Bitcoin. But at this point, we've got NFTs, we've got things like unstoppable domains, which I've been doing some research on, that is going to give real-world applications for things. We've got decentralized finance, we've got lending pools, we've got staking pools, we've got all these different things that people are using in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency that is going to continue to drive more adoption around this industry, that we're not going to see a massive crash, in my opinion. I think the market is going to be much more resilient because there's no longer one single point of failure. All of that to tie back into the question, is there going to be an altcoin season during the bear market? I think yes, but I don't think it's going to be one cohesive altcoin season like we've seen in past, where all of the alts run together. I think we're going to start to see the alts decouple from each other, and ones like, for example, right now, Matic are going to run when they're doing very good things, which, by the way, brief TA on Matic, it is currently breaking an ascending triangle pattern that's been in play for the last 6-7 months. So Matic looks very bullish. If we have time, we'll look at it.
Well, here's one of the problems I have with that question, but I'm going to start with Jebb just clarifying. What is the definition of a bear market?
The definition of a bear market is a prolonged period of decreasing price action and investor interest in the ecosystem.
Okay, and is there a number, like a percentage in price drop?
It is not an objective definition. It's a subjective definition, and that's the problem with it.
This is one of the reasons why I think that the bear market is not, we're not in a bear market and we're not close to one yet. I don't think I think there's so much support and such strong levels of holding mentality very, very low below where we are right now. It's like we don't have that much to drop before we hit our pretty much absolute bottom of people who are just they're going to put their feet in concrete and say we're not moving.
Yeah.
There's almost no. If you look very close, we still have some room we could go down. There is some money that people could sell right now and we could go down. But when you zoom out and you look at the large picture, it's almost like there's nowhere down to go.
Yeah.
In all reality, if we were to drop down to 38, 36, that's not that low from where we are right now, in all reality. And it's not that, and that's pretty much the bottom. There are so many people holding that's going to stop right there. That's not a significant enough drop for me to call it a bear market. That's just a pretty harsh retracement. I think there's almost nowhere to go but up, which is what we're kind of talking about. The longer we kind of stay down, the longer we're going to be able to prolong this bull market and actually catapult up to higher levels than I think we actually even thought was possible. That being said, even though that was just 2 questions, those are both really good questions. Let's go ahead and get back into some of our content, and we'll come back to other super chats later.
Good deal. Well, guys, we're going to go ahead and jump into some different on-chain metrics here. I want to look at something called the Advanced NVT Signal. I'll read a direct quote here. Advanced NVT signal looks at price relative to on-chain transactions. It has only been this oversold a few times before, each time resulting in a strong bounce. Take a look here at the advanced NVT signal right here. Look at all these arrows. Whenever this blue line, hopefully it's blue, again, colorblind, whenever it came down to this level, look at what the market did. Back in March of 2020, that was the beginning of the massive bull market. Back here in May of this year, that was the beginning of this big rally. The advanced NVT signal has pulled back down to the exact same level, giving us an oversold signal, telling us that the market is looking for a bottom. This backs up the narrative that I've been telling you guys that I think the bottom is close, although I'm not convinced that it's in yet. I do think that we are right there. Now, we can also look at another one over here. This one is called the adjusted SOPR. I'm not going to dive into how this is calculated, but I will read the metric to you. You can see that it is a 7-day exponential moving average, and whenever it drops down to this base level of right around 1, that's typically the bottom. We saw this happen back here in September of this year, where we saw a big rally. We saw this happen back over here in May and June of this year, where we then saw a big rally. We even saw the market, the SOPR, adjusted SOPR, pull back to this level back here in May of 2020, and then also September of 2020, and whenever that occurred, we saw a big movement. We've just pulled back down to that same level, and this is another on-chain metric telling us that the market is now overextended to the downside, meaning that we should be looking for buying opportunities. Should you be looking to sell this market? No. No. Guys, remember what we talk about with RSI. You want to get a good deal. You always want to try and get a good deal. If you're getting a good deal for selling, the RSI should be up around 60, 70, 80. If you're trying to get a good deal for buying, the RSI should be down around 20, 30, 40. Very simple. If you want to just throw out everything that we teach you guys, at least remember that. Get a good deal on your buys and sells. Are you getting a good deal on your sells right now? No, you missed the boat. If you're trying to sell the market, you should have a month ago. If you're trying to buy the market, you're getting a good deal right now. Could you get a better deal? Could it go down again? Could it go down to $50,000? Could it go down to $48,000? Could you get a better deal? Absolutely you could. But you don't know that it's going to do that. But what you do know is that the price of Bitcoin right now is $51,659. You do know that you're getting that deal. So don't get so caught up trying to get the perfect deal. Get a good deal and be happy with what you have. Now, with that said, I also want to look over here at Kelly Kellum's Twitter. I need to bring it up really quickly. He's got a pretty interesting, I'm already getting tweets. That's really funny about the colorblind thing. I saw it just a second ago. Go ahead and go to full screen, somebody. Let me pull up the planning document so I can grab this link really quickly. Let me grab this real quick. All right, take a look over here at this on my screen. Got some interesting metrics here. This is what 2021 looks like compared to other periods of time here in the market. I'm going to zoom through these really quickly and just show you what we're looking at here. This is some really, really great analysis that Kelly retweeted from @CryptoValerio, tweeted this. These are not exactly cup and handle formations, but what they basically are where the market pulls to the downside, has a downtrending level of resistance, and the RSI plays out. You can see this pattern that showed up many, many times has a downtrending level of resistance. The market tests that downtrending level of resistance, has a big correction, breaks through the downtrending level of resistance, and then the RSI retests, and then we move to the upside. If we look at what the market is doing right now on a macro level, we're seeing the exact same thing take place. We're seeing a back test of the downtrend that we talked about yesterday, and the RSI is doing the exact same thing. What this tells us is that there is a very high possibility and probability that the market is going to go into a big uptrend over the next couple of months. Might not happen today, but it's probably going to happen over the next couple of weeks into the next month or so. You can see that of these 8 examples, there have been, of these 9 examples, 8 of them went bullish, and only this one right over here in September of 16 actually went bearish. So this is giving me a very, very good feeling. Now, let's go ahead and move on here to another whale article. Bitcoin whales bought almost $3.5 billion, 67,000 Bitcoin, during the crash to $42,000. What is one of the things we talk about all the time, guys? Follow the smart money. Tim was talking about this earlier. What side do you want to be on? Do you want to be on the side of the people that get very easily fearful and they get freaked out and they jump out of trades when they shouldn't? Or do you want to follow these whales that have been working in markets for 30 years, that know what they're doing and they're trading with hundreds of millions of dollars, which, by the way, they earned? Do you want to follow the smart money or do you not want to follow the smart money? It's that simple. The smart money bought that dip. You know what they're doing? They are loading up their bags because the smart money realizes, hey, this thing's going to $100,000. This is the next internet we're talking about here, guys. Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is here to stay. $2 trillion is going to be a drop in the bucket compared to where this thing is going. I could see cryptocurrency going to a quarter of $2 quadrillion. That'd be over 100x in the entire market in the next 20 years. This is revolution, what we're talking about here. A small drop like what we saw, $2,000, $10,000, $15,000, doesn't matter. We're talking about millions of dollars per Bitcoin in the future. That's what we're talking about here, guys. We're talking about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency being able to solve some of the biggest existential threats that humanity has ever faced, like central governments manipulating your currency so that you can't even save for the future. That's the problem we're solving here, guys. That is a problem that every single human being on planet Earth benefits from a solution to. And when you solve a problem that every human being alive benefits from, that's a $1 trillion project. That's a $100 trillion project, and that's Bitcoin, and that's why you should buy it. Got a little heated there, but I just love Bitcoin, guys. It's the way it is. Now, also want to look over here at Will Clemente's Twitter really quickly. Go to full screen so I can pull this up, Smay. And I will go ahead and grab this article. Something really interesting Will Clemente tweeted. By the way, guys, make sure to go follow him on Twitter as well. You can see right here, he says, think we need to get rid of the binary concept of traditional bull markets, bear markets. Too many people trying to project the past onto the future instead of imagining what the future looks like. I actually interviewed Dan from Crypto Capital Venture yesterday. That will be going out on Saturday, so make sure you subscribe for that. And I asked him a very similar question to what Will Clemente is talking about here. I asked him, what is the market structure going to look like over the next 10, 20 years? Are we going to see these massive blow-off tops followed by 85% drops? Or are we going to see periods where the market will trade sideways for 5 years and then go into a big rally like we see in the stock market? Are we going to see big 20% drops that only last 3 months, then the market recovers? What's the market structure going to look like? And to get Dan's perspective on that, you're going to have to wait until that interview on Saturday. But as far as I'm concerned, I think that we are going to see a very different market structure moving into the next 10 years than we've seen in the last 10 years. And Tim, I'd love to hear your opinion on this. How do you think that the market structure is going to play out in these next 10 years? Are we going to continue to see, 1,000% rallies followed by 80% dumps, or are we going to start to see more gradual movement where we're not seeing 1,000% a year, but maybe we're seeing 100% a year, 50% a year? What's that going to look like?
You talking about Bitcoin, or are you talking about
for the entire crypto markets in general?
I think the crypto market can still do it. I think that altcoins can still rally even more than 1,000 in a bull run, and then crash hard. Bitcoin is the one that I think, I think we're going to scale back. I think that Bitcoin is going to start having some bull runs that it goes up by 500%, and then it comes down, and then it's gonna slowly 300, then 200, then 100, and then we're gonna get to a place where Bitcoin. I tweeted this yesterday. For everyone who's scared and is wondering, that crash last week. Oh, did I lose money? Go look at your wallet. You have the same amount of Bitcoin.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
You need to get to a place where you start thinking about, man, how much Bitcoin do I own? How many Satoshis do I hold? Not how much cash, because there will come a point where we won't even be talking about the price of Bitcoin. Because when we talk about the price of Bitcoin, and that's what we do every day, we're pretty much saying the dollar is king. How can Bitcoin serve it? And so that puts us in this mindset of okay, Bitcoin has to serve the dollar. There will come a day where it's we're not talking about what is the price of one Bitcoin. We're talking about what is the price of one anything against Satoshis. How many Satoshis is this worth? So when we say Bitcoin can get to be 10 million, it doesn't matter, because what it's going to be is Bitcoin's going to be so valuable that we will eliminate using the term how much is it against fiat currency, and we're going to compare everything else to it.
Absolutely.
So with that being said, it will come to a place where forget 1,000x, Bitcoin is becoming more valuable, and it's the most valuable thing here on this planet.
Yeah. That's absolutely. Guys, drop a 1 in chat. If you, this is an idea that just came to me. We'll have to talk about it with the team, but drop a 1 in chat if you'd like to see like little 1 to 2 minute clips of this stream, because what Tim just said, I would love for us to clip that out and upload it as a video, because that was fantastic. Like, can we drop a 1 in chat if you guys would like to see clips like that? With that said, guys, let's go ahead and move into reading some super chats.
Okay, we got a couple more here. Let me start with a couple that are a little more relevant to what we're talking about. Alex Fisher said, thoughts about the India news and its crypto bill right now. The bill rules are kind of bad. India becoming the next China. Hashtag Matic to the moon.
So the issue with the India news is that India really can't make up its mind what it thinks about Bitcoin. And that's one of the reasons we haven't talked about it too much, is because, you know, you report one thing and then they go and change it. It's like, I don't know what's going on in India because they don't know what's going on in India. So I can't tell you what I think about the news over in India because, frankly, it's very hard to follow. You don't really know what's going on in India. I look at India as a massive opportunity for Bitcoin, but for right now, I don't think it's very relevant to the price, to be honest with you, because we just don't have a lot of clarity out of what's going on over there.
We have another one from JB saying, "Hey Jebb, I got Lux through you. My 4-hour doesn't. He said my 4-hour doesn't show a buy signal on Bitcoin, not trend line. What am I doing wrong?"
Yeah, so go ahead and jump on my screen, and I will show you how to make sure everything's set up the way that I set it up. Now, of course, the way I set it up is not the only way to set it up, but I will show you what I do. Now, go ahead and turn on your Lux Algo Premium. Make sure that it's on the most recent setting. You can close it out and bring it back up. Go in here to Settings. Go to Inputs. You're going to want to make sure Signals mode is on Confirmation plus Exits, not just confirmations. Those little X's are going to show up because of that. I leave signal sensitivity on 12 and 26. These two numbers, confirmation signals agility down here at the bottom, and this one at the top, signal sensitivity at 12. Those are the defaults. I personally leave them there. What you can do is you can turn on autopilot and it will change these numbers dynamically based on algorithms that Lux Algo has in the background. And there's actually a lot of information over on their Discord where they're constantly updating and saying, hey, these are the optimal settings. These are the optimal settings. These are the optimal settings. I've done a lot of work with Lux Algo at this point. I found the defaults of 12 and 26 are the best. But if you change this to like 100, it's going to change where all these buy and sell signals are. Knock on wood. Yeah, there we go. See, it's going to change it. So I personally leave it at 12 and 26, but if you don't have it on 12 and 26, you're going to see something different. Now, as far as the rest of the algo package, you can see over here in Lux Algo Premium, I have EQ Cloud up, which is this guy in the middle. I just pointed there with my finger as if you could see that. It is this guy right here in the middle. It's almost like you guys are in the room with me. I love it. It's like I'm teaching people. Yeah. But you can also see this reversal zone right here is this. And then you can see the trend catcher. The line here in the middle is right there. So there you go. A little rundown of how I set everything up. Full screen.
Is there a video anywhere that we have for people to be able to see that?
We have a video in, I believe we talk about it in CT2A, but to be honest with you guys, the best place to go and learn all of that is on Lux Algo's website themselves. They have an entire, they have pages and pages and pages of tutorials. So everything I just showed you, you can learn more in depth at luxalgo.com.
Are we going to shoot any videos in the future to teach all that stuff?
Absolutely, we are.
Perfect. All right, let's keep going.
We definitely are.
Some more super chats. Here's someone just people wanted to ask some questions. Crypto Swain said, "Hey guys, love the show. Thank you so much for everything you guys do. Anyways, just curious, do you have thoughts about Edward Snowden's comments on NFTs at the blockchain conference a few days ago?"
I saw that. I haven't seen that yet. Did you see what he said? T-Shroom, did you see what he said? I heard about that, and I haven't looked at it yet. I got busy yesterday.
I know I didn't hear what he said there. I know from other things that Edward Snowden has been a big fan of that, but
he's been using Bitcoin for a long time. He bought the servers that he used for what he did with Bitcoin. He talked about that a couple
Maybe I was reading an article to even talk about that.
Yeah, no, he talked about that a couple weeks ago. People were asking him his thoughts on Bitcoin. He's like, guys, I was in Bitcoin probably before you were.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah. We had another one from AMGEV, because I'm not quite sure what that would be, AMGEV, but I don't think that's what it's going for. Thoughts on Crow? Is it a good buy right now?
So the thing about Crow is you have to hold Crow for, I think it's 6 months to get the different cards that Crypto.com uses. So Crypto.com is a very successful company, and they've set up their company in a way that if you want to use their cards, which by the way, one of their cards is like 8% cash back. It's ridiculous. But to do that, you got to hold $400,000 worth of Crow for 6 months. So I think that I don't know if Crow's a good buy right now, but it does have tokenomics backing it up that is going to lead to its appreciation in price. It's kind of like Binance Coin. The reason Binance Coin is number 3 is not because of its smart contracts. It's not because of the functionality. It's because Binance Coin is used on Binance, and the company Binance gives you rewards for holding it. That's why Binance Coin is worth $100 billion, and Crypto.com is doing something similar. I think there are a lot of gains to be made in Crypto.com, Crow. As far as the actual TA, I haven't looked at the TA on it since I got sick, but I think that it is probably a good hold for the long run just because of the company. But you need to pay close attention to the company, not just the project.
We can do some Crow tomorrow.
We can,
because Jebb's going to be out tomorrow.
I am.
So I will be hosting the show, and I think T Shroom will be sitting in this desk.
He will.
And then Smay will be at his, unless he. We had a little tiff earlier, so he's thinking he doesn't want to come anymore.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah. Anyway, Liam said. Why would you do a laugh track? Okay. Liam said, I learned so much from watching y'all. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Liam.
Nick Brewster said, can you talk about Olympus
DAO?
Yeah, Olympus DAO.
I haven't looked into it enough to want to give you any thoughts on that, so I'm not going to on that.
CryptoMan 5000 said, coffee on me. Any
Thank
thoughts
you.
on Solana? Are we headed back to the 240s?
Yeah, so Solana, we can look at that really quickly. Solana is currently sitting at $200. I think that is definitely going to go back up to its new all-time high, and the reason is because Solana is the creators of Solana say they're not, but they are competing with Ethereum. Solana is a project that has a whole lot of functionality. It's a very fast project. It's got a lot of it's got a lower level development language so that you're able to develop it with more power than you would on Ethereum, which makes it harder. But of course, if you're developing a $10 billion layer 2 project, then you're probably not going to care too much that it's difficult coding language. You just want that functionality. I think Solana is a good project, and I do think it will go back to those all-time highs. Yeah, absolutely.
Darko Kissick said, largest retailer in Croatia started accepting Bitcoin for payments. Thank you guys for being here.
Interesting. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, we have to look more into that. Carlos C said, what do you think of Polkadot, and do you know of any events coming up for Polkadot?
I haven't been following the development cycle on Polkadot recently. Smay, have you been looking at it? I know you're a big dot fan.
No, I haven't. I haven't been keeping up with it much.
I just got an article here about the Edward Snowden quote. Edward Snowden said, I think the community should very much be trying to bend the arc of development away from injecting artificial, unnecessary scarcity entirely for the benefit of some investor class. So it sounds like what he's saying in a short, and I'm reading this live, so I have to look at more of this, is basically use NFTs for things that NFT infrastructure is actually designed to be used for. Don't just try and use NFTs to make artificial scarcity because you're going to create a bubble. And I agree with him if that's what he's making, if that's the point that he's making.
Gotcha. We have one more that I see at least. He's one of our members, a Jebbi Knight, the Bitcoinologist.
Yeah.
Said, if Bitcoin is priced with on-chain data, yet now we have huge corporations buying OTC on an on-chain, how does Bitcoin get a fair, accurate pricing range? I think it's well underpriced. What are your thoughts?
I think it's underpriced too, but the thing you have to keep in mind with those whales that are buying OTC, yes, they're not having a direct implication on the market, but they have the power to do so. And when they want to move the market, they're going to. And these whales that are buying Bitcoin are not buying Bitcoin with the hopes it goes down. Like a lot of people forget about that with manipulation. They always talk about, oh, the whales sold, the whales were manipulating, the whales are trying to crash the market. You know, the whales are at the same time just as often, if not more often, trying to pump the market. So as much as we hate on the whales actually are trying to push the market to the upside as well. So yes, OTC purchasing does not directly impact the price action of Bitcoin, but at the same time, those same people that are buying Bitcoin OTC want the price to go up, and they have the power to make the price go up. So they are going to make the price go up.
You know what strategy the whales use? They have their pot over here that they do not touch, and they have a pot over here that they play with you, and they buy and sell and buy and sell. It's almost as if they have a hodl portfolio and a trading portfolio, and they don't mix them. An idea, a thought, if anyone wanted to try that out.
Another quote we got here from Edward Snowden on the subject of NFTs. He said, the innovation that will allow every industry on the planet to evolve into utilizing the blockchain. I completely agree with that. That's a great way of saying that. And the point I think he's trying to make there is that NFTs are the gateway for using for allowing blockchain to be used for things that are not specifically built on a blockchain. So I explained it like this on Around the Blockchain the other day, a couple weeks ago. And they actually clipped it and put it on their Instagram. So check out the BitBoy Crypto Instagram. You'll see it. The fact of the matter is that NFTs allow for fractional ownership of a decentralized, scarce network. What does that mean? It means that instead of having only Bitcoin is able to take advantage of the Bitcoin network's scarcity and decentralized nature, with an NFT, you're able to take out a fractional ownership of that scarcity, and you're able to sub-package it into whatever you want. Like, for some reason, I have a screwdriver on my desk that one of our employees left here, one of our staff left here. If I want this thing to be on the blockchain, I don't have to build a whole blockchain for it, right? I can just, poof, turn it into an NFT, and then it has the same properties of blockchain with decentralization, with limited supply, with scarcity, but it's online. That didn't exist before. You know, this whole thing about pirating movies and everything, that's going to be impossible with NFTs, just so you know. It's not going to work the same way as it did before. So there's a lot of great benefits that NFTs are going to bring. I'm really excited for them.
All right, let's get through the rest of these because I do think. Do we have anything else in the show?
No, we're just wrapping out with super chats now.
We have super chats and then we have our price predictions. So while we are doing this, Smay and T-Shroom, make sure you guys are texting me your things because I have mine already. So we'll let Jebb shoot it live as he's on air.
Yes, sir.
Drake Garcia said, "Have you guys thought about having discussion of the future price of Ethereum and Bitcoin based on total crypto market cap and Bitcoin dominance based on moving average model?" There's a lot there.
Not based on a moving average model, but yes, I've looked at the price of Bitcoin and Ethereum based on their dominance and total market capitalization. Yeah, I have done that. I have done that, and the reason I haven't talked about it is because it doesn't end up showing much different than what you see from the traditional technical analysis that we do, at least not that I've seen.
Abdullah Safar said, "Do you think it's a good idea to sell some of your Bitcoin and Ethereum and invest into alts like XRP, Bitcoin, Cash, etc.?"
If you're in profit, yeah, I think it's a good idea. I think it's something that is very much portfolio specific, so don't take me saying that and say, oh, okay, well, Jebb said to do it. Well, I don't know your situation. I have no idea if it's a good idea for you to do so. If you've got $10 in crypto, then you probably don't want to try and spread out over 100 coins and have 10 cents in each. You probably want to focus on one. But I think it is, in general, not a bad idea to take profits from one and put it into the other. But try not to jump between moving trains, as Kelly says. He's one of our researchers. And try and make sure you're being responsible.
Yeah.
So.
Let's see here. Last one I see from Capture the Moment. Thoughts on Kadena? Are you investing in Kadena?
Oh, gosh, we're gonna have to do a video on Kadena because everybody's asking about it.
People have asked a lot.
Stay tuned. We'll do something on Kadena in the future, more than likely. No promises, but maybe.
All right, I have one. I have the prediction in from Smay.
Okay.
T-Shroom, do you have yours?
Explain to everybody, because it's been like 3 weeks since we've done a price prediction.
It's been a minute.
Can you explain?
So I've almost never seen anyone get this perfectly, but we compete. The four of us, Jebb, Smay, me, and T-Shroom, we compete to see who can be the closest at calling the price of Bitcoin Friday at 9:30, and the winner gets to hold the HODL trophy that is in Jebb's hand.
Which I've been holding for 3 of the last 4 weeks.
Yes. So we are going to predict it. Do not use this as trading information. Do not be like, if people are like, oh man, they're way off. Well, okay, it's really hard to pinpoint what it's going to look like exactly at 9:30 on Fridays. But I'm waiting on right now. I'm waiting on T-Shroom's prediction.
I'm going to tell you mine.
He texted to me. He just texted me Bitcoin. Oh, there we go. All right, there. Here's his. All right. All right. The predictions are in. So, Jebb, without further ado.
54,000.
54,000. Wow.
Yep.
I don't like my prediction much anymore. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and say mine, and then we'll do the other ones. So Jebb says 54,000. My prediction is 53,500, and I think it's because we're probably thinking similar things.
52.5, you said?
53.5.
53.5. Gotcha.
Oh wow.
Smay originally said 53,000, but he did text me a clarification. He said 53, actually scratched at 58. So Smay is the top dog. Smay is hoping for a massive rally. T-Shroom is the bear in the room, saying 50,000 even. So let us know in chat what you guys think. Also, if you're not watching this live, and even if you are watching it live, go to the comment section. Put the price that you think it'll be. If anyone is within like $100, I'll go find it. And Friday we will shout them out.
Yep.
And we'll start maybe a thing like let you guys play with us. Who's going to be the closest to that game?
That's a good idea. Yeah, guys, tell us in chat $, and then your prediction for Bitcoin.
And don't do it in chat. Go to the comment section.
Oh, do it in comments.
Do the comment section because I'm not going to go back through chat to look at who predicted.
You can go in the comment section, or if you want, you can tweet at us.
That's true.
You can tweet
Either one.
Tweet at TA Tim, Crypto Tim. What's your Twitter?
Let's see. The crypto_beard.
The crypto_beard. There you go.
Beard was taken at the time.
I knew somebody was going to say 69,420. I knew that was going to happen.
That's a great.
Well, guys, we got a great show. We had a great time with you. We've still got some super chats. Some came in. We got to read those.
Oh, do we? Okay, so let's see here. We got
Kelly
one.
said 56.5. Interesting.
Crypto Alchemist, who is a Jedi Knight, said, friendly reminder to all, don't overbuy into crypto. Make sure you have funds to live. Had to sell some positions for bills. Side note, how's T-Shroom feeling on
MyR Exchange? MyR Exchange is still down. T-Shroom, do you have any thoughts on it?
I'm reading the tweets better.
It's the E-Gold.
He's reading it right now.
The E-Gold exchange, and he's a big fan of E-Gold. So
yeah.
It looks like it's going to be at least another 24 hours.
Looks like it's going to be at least another 24 hours before it's up, is what he said.
Okay. We have Vinny Fry said, what are your thoughts on Yearn Finance potential price during next alt season?
I haven't looked at Yearn Finance, so I couldn't tell you.
There was an interesting chat earlier that I thought was kind of funny. We're not really close enough for it, but we could make it that way. Someone's like, I got surprised when I looked at how close you guys were sitting to each other in the room.
Yeah.
I'm very sad that you guys don't high-five each other more on screen. Jebb is really far. I don't know if anyone.
I'm like
I think
8 feet away.
Smay and I could get.
Smay and you could actually high five. Yeah, they high five. There you go.
T-Shroom can come up, but no.
Hold on, maybe I can give a wide shot here. Hold on, let me attempt something here. So there's Tim, and then all the way across the room is then their
Jebb's a little far for high five. And then T-Shroom can come up anytime he wants.
T-Shroom has a table now. It's been months in the making.
Yeah.
That was like the when are we gonna get Smay a mic thing. You remember that?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember that one.
I forgot about that.
Oh my gosh.
Poor Mikeless Smay. This shot is so interesting with you doing everything.
I know. I love it. I love it.
That's really funny. Well, guys, we had a great show. We are going to be coming back to you tomorrow live. Tim will be hosting that show, and then I'll be back on Thursday. We got a great show lined up for you Thursday, guys. We got some really cool stuff coming. We got a special guest that's going to be here in office in studio. Can't wait for that. Guys, it has been a pleasure. We got more content coming out over the day, so make sure that you stay tuned. We got more uploads coming. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We're one of the fastest growing cryptocurrency technical analysis channels, and we want to help you become financially free so that you can live a purpose-driven life. We come at you every single day hoping to bring you content with integrity and humility because we value those as core values, and we care about you. We want you to be successful. I believe in you. If you're scared about this market, feel free to tweet at us. We'd be more than happy to talk to you about it. Before I go, guys, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Oh, I got a real good feeling.